introduce myself, Linda. So my name is Ike Nassi, and I have a couple of comments that I want to make. Life is a series of adventures, and I've been on 2 of them with Keith, 2 major ones. Before that, Keith had his own series of adventures, and I only know a few of them. I'm sure there are many others that I don't know about, but I know a couple. But let me tell you one of them. Keith was involved in the early days of the internet. And at the time, he met a man named Len Kleinrock. Len Kleinrock was a professor at UCLA who has since become a friend of mine as well. Len is now Professor Emeritus. He's retired at UCLA, and he's a world expert on queuing theory in networks. Len founded and helped run an organization to this day, actually. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called TTI Vanguard. Several years ago, while I was at SAP, I sent Keith to a TTI Vanguard meeting in Memphis, Tennessee. And I couldn't go, but Keith came back all excited. It was a very interesting meeting. He got to see these FedEx planes going off every 90 seconds, I believe. And now, of course, they go off to twice as much. Every 45 seconds, a plane takes off. So, back to TTI Vanguard, I sent Keith to this meeting, and Len Kleinrock normally gives the introductory remarks, and all of a sudden, Len sees Keith in the audience. He stops his introductory remarks, he stops the meeting cold, he asks Keith to stand up, and introduces Keith as one of the unsung heroes of the internet. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I assume there was a large amount of clapping, but Keith's very modest, and so he really wouldn't tell me what happened, and find out from other people. Just a short side story that has nothing to do with Keith. Len's wife, a woman named Stella Kleinrock now, was an undergraduate at UCLA and had been dating a Jewish student football player at UCLA. This Jewish student football player had expressed some reservations about becoming a pro football player. Stella asked him what he really wanted to do, and he said he really wanted to be a baseball player. Stella convinced him to do just that. His name was Sandy Koufax. And of course, he was one of the best pitchers ever playing in Major League Baseball. A couple of other things. Keith once built a truck. It was a very special truck, had a lot of antennas. Don, you may remember this, right? A lot of antennas on the roof. Basically, it was a bread truck, international harvester. And he's driving down 101. Mark, I don't know if you were involved in that. And he gets pulled over because there's all these antennas, and the cops don't know what this is. And they pull over, they think he thinks he's a spy. But somehow he talked his way out of that one. But this bread truck was communicating with a satellite in outer space, and was one of the first mobile TCP/IP devices around. Now, something else that you may not know about Keith, you remember the Deflategate, the Red Sox? Frankie, you remember this, right? Deflategate, okay. The football. Well, once upon a time, Keith built an electronic football. And I can't tell you more about that. So you'll have to ask Keith about that. Now, we heard about the fact that Keith worked for these CEOs at HP. When I met Keith, I had to call some of these people and get, reference checking Keith, because I really didn't know him at the time. And when I called Lou Platt, may he rest in peace, I thought Lou was going to have a heart attack on the phone when he heard that Keith was leaving us at HP. It was amazing. So he obviously, because he worked for all these CEOs, he actually earned a stellar reputation. And this is well before I met him, and it's been downhill from there. Sorry about that. But let me tell you about our first adventure together. Keith and I started a wireless mesh networking company around 2000. Well, starting in 2001, actually. The so-called bubble had just burst. It was very, very difficult to get anything funded in Silicon Valley. So, what did I do? Well, I went to Hawaii, of course, right? And I coined the term wireless Waikiki, and somehow we got this thing funded, $1.3 million, enough to get going. For the next couple of years, Keith and I went to Hawaii all the time. Now you might think, oh, that's really tough, right? Keith, did we ever go to the beach? No, we never went to the beach. Did we stay in fancy hotels? No, we didn't stay in fancy hotels. We stayed in these flea bag places. We worked our butts off. And every night, there was stuff going on in the street, which because we're in this wonderful fellowship building, it's a religious site, I can't really tell you about that, but it was very interesting. But we worked long hours, we hired people, we designed the first product, and we didn't get paid very much. Actually, Keith designed the product. We selected some hardware from a company called Socris, remember that? And we ran FreeBSD on this product, and here's something that's very uncharacteristic. Keith forgot the root password. But somehow we recovered, he hacked into it, and I don't know, we recovered the whole thing. I was really impressed. I kept on asking, how did you do that? He wouldn't tell me. With the wireless mesh network companies, we started climbing roofs to install these mesh points all over the place. Actually, Keith climbed roofs, I did not. We filed a bunch of patents. Actually, Keith filed a bunch of patents. We worship the voodoo gods to send recognizable radio waves in our direction. Lots of interference from nearby power stations that we had to overcome. But faith in the gods of technology overcame the trials and tribulations of radio interference. We got it to the point where we could detect radio signals a mile away. Actually, Keith did that. We battled evil money men and misguided puppets. Okay, we lost that one. We had a second adventure, and I'm going to, let Wes talk about the time that we spent at SAP. But before I do, let me just say in closing that while people may think that Keith was following me in our adventures, I want everybody here to know Keith actually was my leader. Thank you, Keith.